Hey y'all, I'm Hope. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about series that I would really like to finish in 2023. This is basically a mix of things that either I have been reading for way too long and I'd really like to be able to clear them out of my currently reading series list, because I do have a spreadsheet for this, all of my ongoing series. I have a ton of them. I have some that I would just like to be able to clear off of that list, and then I have some that I'm really excited for, and I'm not really sure why I haven't continued with them, so it's kind of a blend of things. I think I'm going to start with the books that I am accessing or own as ebooks first, and then we'll move into the stuff that I own physically. But the first series that I'd really like to finish in 2023 is the Folk of the Air trilogy by Holly Black. This is a YA, I think, fantasy series about these twin sisters who live in the world of fairy after this guy came and killed their parents. He's also their father figure. That's fine and normal, I guess. Anyway, it mainly follows Jude, who, as a human, feels out of place in the world of fairy, but unlike her sister who wants to leave fairy and not be involved with the politics of the world, Jude really wants to be a part of the world and, make a name for herself. So it's about Jude trying to do that, and at the same time, this plot unfolds around the King of Fairy and, his sons, and stuff happens. I remember very little of this series at this point because I read the first book 2 years ago, and I didn't love it. I thought it was decent. There were some issues I had, particularly with the first half of the book, but for the most part I thought it was fun, and I have just never gone on to read the rest of the books, but I'd really like to be able to kind of check this one off of my currently reading list. I also know that there is a new book out, The Stolen Heir. I think that just came out a few days ago. Maybe if the rest of the series gets better and I enjoy it more, maybe I'd go on to read that. But I know this is a really popular series, a lot of people really love it, and I would like to at least finish it out and see how it ends. The next series I'd like to finish is the All for the Game trilogy by Nora Sekavic. These are not good books. They are terrible. I've only read the first one, but I've been reading them as part of a thing that I do with my friends, which it doesn't really have a name, but it's kind of a book club thing. I am the designated reader of cursed books, and I read books that they want to know what happens, but they don't want to have to read them themselves. They send me recommendations of things they would like me to read, or I say, hey, this sounds kind of cursed, but I try reading it, and this is a series that I've been reading for their entertainment. I read the first book kind of at the end of last year, and I didn't go on yet because I was busy, but the second book, The Raven King, the first book is The Foxhole Court. The Raven King is on my priority TBR for the year because I did a thing where I pulled random books out of a mug. I will link that somewhere so that you can access that video if you'd like to watch it. But The Raven King is on my priority TBR for 2023, so I figure if I'm going to read that one, I may as well go ahead and read the third book as well and get it checked off of my list. The last ebook series that I wanted to mention is Criminal Intentions Season 1. This is a series I absolutely love. Unlike the other two where it's one I'd like to check off, this is one that I love and I would like to get to the end of the series because it's a part of an ongoing longer series, but there's different seasons. It's structured like a TV show. This is a romantic suspense crime procedural series that I really, really love. I think the characters are fantastic. I really like the mysteries. Each one feels really satisfying and something you can solve yourself, or in fact there's one that I really like where there's not so much a mystery as a how is this person going to deal with this situation kind of a thing. There's just a really interesting variety of mysteries going on. I think the conclusions are satisfying, and the romance that sits at the core of the series between the two detectives working on these crimes, it's just really well done. It's a slow burn. It's well written. I really like it. And so I really would like to finish season 1 because there is a lot more of this series to get to, but I would like to get to the end of season 1, which I think is book 13. I think I'm currently on book 5, so I've got a little ways to go, but they're all pretty short, so I think it's doable still. Then the first physical series I would like to finish is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. You may notice I'm holding up the first book. This is because I've DNF'd this book twice. I would like to finish this book now, please, and also finish the series because I'm basically, I want to read this series. I read and liked ACOTAR, but also I've DNF'd this book twice, and I would like to get through it now. And I've heard that the series isn't really that great until you get to book 4. So I would like to get there. I would like to get to the part where people say it's good. But I really want to read this series because her other series, Crescent City, is now having some Easter eggs and crossovers with other books that she's written. And so I really want to read this so that I can pick up on those Easter eggs and those crossover bits while I'm reading Crescent City, which is why I have not read Crescent City yet. I've been putting it off until I finish Throne of Glass. So I need to read the Throne of Glass series so that I can read Crescent City, and I think we're getting another one of those like this year. So I'm quickly falling behind. Next up, I have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I've read the first book. I literally just need to read one more book to be done, but I'm nervous about this one because I really loved the first book. I thought it was really interesting. It's a retelling of Romeo and Juliet set in 1920 Shanghai with competing gangs. I thought it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. The characters were great. And I've seen a lot of people who liked These Violent Delights not like Our Violent Ends as a conclusion. So now I'm scared. And now I'm putting it off. But I need to just go ahead and do it because it's literally just one book, and then I would be done and I could like check it off my list. And then if I don't like it, I can like unhaul it and give it to somebody who will love it. Like, I just need to like get over it and read it, but I'm scared. So the next series is also one that I'm scared to read, but for like very different reasons. This is the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. And I'm scared because she has no qualms about hurting and killing characters. So I'm afraid to see what's gonna happen because I'm very invested in these characters. Of these 4 books, 3 and a novella, if I can get them up in screen, I have read Jade City. I loved it. It was one of my favorite books the year I read it. I think I read this in 2021. Genuinely, just this fantastic story. I really love the magic system. I really love the characters. I'm incredibly invested in the Call family. I loved everything about this book. And then I started Jade War last year. And I was buddy reading it with a friend. Why is buddy reading such a hard thing to say? Anyway, I was buddy reading Jade War with a friend. We both got scared and stopped reading it because we were like, oh no, she's gonna kill off more of our favorite characters. And so we stopped reading and we never finished it. I even still have like the tabs marking out the different sections in there. And I really need to get back to it because I love Jade City so much and I've heard so many good things about the second and third book. So like I really just need to do it, but like I'm scared because I know it's gonna hurt. So what I'm planning to do to kind of ease back into it is read the novella, Jade Setter of Dunloon, hopefully sometime this month. It's on my TBR for the month. And I'm hoping that like getting myself reinvested in the world will give me the little push I need to go ahead and just read Jade War so that then I can get Jade Legacy. Because I've not heard like a single bad review of the series, and I love the first book so much, but I just need to get over my fear and actually read the rest of it. The next series I'd really like to finish is, I think, the one odd one out here, where I have not actually finished reading the first book, and the last book isn't out yet. But this is the Radiant Emperor duology by Shelley Parker Chan, and you might notice I'm holding a dust jacket. This is because I'm currently reading the first book, and I'm loving it. Genuinely can already tell it's going to be a favorite book of the year. It's so well written. The protagonist, Zhu, I think I just said that wrong. The protagonist, Zhe, is so fascinating. I love her. Her motivations are really interesting. She's really clever and really good at like solving problems. I think she's just a really fantastic protagonist. I'm loving following her story. But then also the antagonist, General Ouyang, is so interesting as well. Like he has so many interesting motivations and he's kind of mysterious, but we get some of his thought processes. And then there's also these other little bits and pieces of perspectives from other characters that kind of fill in some of the blanks. The whole thing is just fantastic. I'm loving every second of it, and I cannot wait for the sequel to come out later this year. I'm just really hoping that I'm going to be able to prioritize it when it comes out, because I think it might be coming out during the fall semester, and I'm going to be starting on my thesis work. So I'm like a little bit scared that I won't be able to get to it this year, but I'm like really hoping that I can, because I really love this first book so much, and I'm hoping to finish this one this month. I think it's doable. I keep saying that, but like I have a really long TBR for the month, but this is one of my current reads, and I'm really excited to get to the second book. The final series that I would like to finish is a nostalgic one for me. This is the Chronicles of Prydain by Lloyd Alexander. Why is that a hard name to say? I don't know. This is a children's fantasy series that I began reading when I was in like maybe the first grade, maybe second grade at the latest. And at the time, I did not know it was a series. I read just book 2, The Black Cauldron. Is that book 2? That's book 4. I only read book 2. And I don't even remember how I found it. Like I was at the library and somehow I found just book 2. Didn't know it was part of a series. I read it, loved it. It made tiny me cry. And years later, I could never remember what it was called. I can remember just like a handful of details about the book, which at this point now I've even forgotten those. But I'd read or I'd remembered like bits and pieces, but I could never remember the name of the book and I couldn't figure out what it was. And so I was never able to find it again until like high school when I was talking to a friend of mine. Actually, I can't remember if this happened in high school because she's still one of my best friends. Actually, she's been texting me because she just finished Legends and Lattes. So she's giving me an update on her thoughts on that. So that's fun. But I was talking to her either like in high school or maybe shortly after we started college. And somehow we were talking about like things we'd read as children. And I mentioned this book and I was describing it to her and she goes, "Oh, that sounds like The Black Cauldron. Yeah, it's the second book in this series." And I was like, "There's a series?" And so anyway, I've been trying to get this series ever since. And my partner, who does not know that backstory, or did not, I told him this morning, he literally today gave this to me as a birthday present. So it was very nostalgic. I got to open this package this morning and like get really excited to read this series that I haven't read since I was literally in elementary school. And I'm thinking I might try to put together a vlog for this because I think it would be fun to vlog going back and rereading this, and or rather reading the first book, rereading the second book, and then finally getting to finish it, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun and I think it's going to be like emotional for me because it is very much a nostalgia thing for me. So yeah, I'm really excited about all of these. That is all of the series that I'm hoping to prioritize in 2023. There are many series I am reading, but these are the ones that I would most like to try and finish this year. And that's pretty much all I have for you today. So I hope that you liked this video. If you did, I hope you'll consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribing to see what comes next. I'm currently posting every Tuesday and Saturday, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.